Every man has lived this moment. Things were going great. She laughed at your messages, she wanted to see you. And then seemingly overnight, something changed. Her replies got shorter, her tone colder, and you're left asking yourself, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth. Women almost never lose attraction suddenly. They lose it silently, weeks before you ever notice. There's a psychological pattern working in the background, one most men never recognize. But once you understand it, everything about dating becomes predictable. Most men believe attraction changes instantly. If she was warm yesterday and distant today, it must mean something new happened. A text you sent, a date that didn't go perfectly, a moment where you seemed less confident. But this assumption is wrong and incredibly dangerous, because men tend to think in straight lines. If A happened, then B happened because of it. Women, on the other hand, respond to patterns, not moments. Their emotional world builds slowly and erodes slowly. So when a woman pulls back, it rarely has anything to do with something you just said or did. It's the accumulation of small signals she's been picking up for days or even weeks. Signals you never noticed, because men typically look for big, obvious indicators, not the subtle emotional cues women constantly communicate through. This is why her shift feels sudden. It's not. You just became aware of it late. What you're seeing today is simply the moment her internal scale tipped. And unless you understand how this process unfolds, you'll always feel blindsided. But once you do, you can stop reacting to her behavior and start understanding it. The truth is this: attraction rarely collapses because of one big mistake. It fades through tiny, almost invisible moments men overlook. Think of it like a subtle leak in a foundation. Not dramatic, not catastrophic, just steady. And women feel these micro shifts long before men do. Here are the patterns that erode attraction quietly. Number 1. Lack of emotional presence. Not listening fully. Responding with half attention. Being physically there, but mentally elsewhere. Women feel this instantly. It signals a man who can't hold emotional space. Number 2. Subtle defensiveness. Not yelling, not arguing, just small hints of insecurity when she brings something up. A shift in tone. A slight overreaction. A moment of tension. Women interpret this as emotional instability. Number 3. Inconsistency. Saying one thing, doing another. Not following through on small promises. Being hot one day, cold the next. These micro-inconsistencies break trust before attraction. Number 4. A loss of masculine polarity. Indecision. Passivity. Waiting for her to lead. These small behaviors tell a woman, subconsciously, this man can't guide the dynamic. Number 5. Tiny moments of neediness. Double texting out of anxiety. Over-explaining. Seeking reassurance instead of embodying calm certainty. These things accumulate silently. None of these destroy attraction instantly. But together, they create an emotional discomfort she can't quite explain, only feel. And this is why men miss it. These signs are so small, so scattered, and so subtle that by the time a man notices anything has changed, the pattern has already been unfolding for weeks. Attraction doesn't crash, it erodes. And once erosion begins, a woman enters a silent psychological phase, one that most men confuse for "she's just busy." Once the micro-disappointments accumulate, a woman enters a stage men almost never detect, the silent phase. This is where her attraction is decreasing, but she isn't saying a word about it. Not because she wants to hide it, but because she's testing what you'll do without her prompting. Here's what this phase looks like. She stops initiating. Not dramatically, just a little less often. Men tell themselves she's busy, but she's observing your consistency. She becomes more neutral, a bit less playful, a bit less affectionate, a bit less enthusiastic. These aren't mood swings. They're emotional data points. She communicates less directly. Women in this phase switch from verbal communication to behavioral communication. They want to see if you can read the emotional temperature of the relationship. And here's the part men never realize. She's already mentally stepping back, but she's still giving you space to rebalance the dynamic. This is why the silent phase is so deceptive. On the surface, nothing is wrong. She's still around, still responding, still polite, still fine. But internally, she's measuring you. She's watching whether you cling, collapse, or stabilize. And if you don't sense this shift, if you keep acting as if everything is normal, the erosion continues until it reaches a point men describe as the sudden change. But nothing about it was sudden. The silent phase is simply the part most men sleep through. What most men interpret as a sudden loss of attraction isn't actually the beginning of the problem. It's the final stage. This is the moment the internal scale tips, the point where the emotional erosion reaches its threshold. And here's the paradox. The trigger is almost always small, but it represents something big. A slightly careless comment, a missed plan, a moment of indecision, a hint of clinginess during a tense time. To you, it's nothing. To her, it confirms what she's been feeling for weeks. This is when she internally says, "This won't change." Once that sentence forms in her mind, everything shifts. Her tone changes. Her energy withdraws. Her patience disappears. Her attraction drops visibly, almost overnight. This is the breaking point, not because her feelings died suddenly, but because they finally reached the end of the runway. Men usually react with panic here, texting more, seeking reassurance, trying to fix things emotionally, over-explaining, over-apologizing, pushing for clarity she's not ready to give. Ironically, this only accelerates the decline because panic is the opposite of stability. And stability is the very thing her attraction needed to feel safe again. The breaking point isn't the collapse. It's simply the moment you finally see the collapse she's been feeling internally. At the center of every sudden drop in attraction isn't boredom, isn't another guy, isn't a random mood shift. It's something far more fundamental. She no longer feels psychologically safe with you. And for women, attraction is built on safety. Not the Hollywood version of safety, but 3 specific forms of psychological security that men often stop providing without realizing it. Number 1, emotional safety. This is your groundedness, your ability to stay calm under pressure, to listen without reacting, to handle conflict without spiraling. When a man becomes anxious, defensive, or volatile, even in small ways, a woman's nervous system registers it as instability, and instability kills attraction faster than anything. Number 2, leadership safety. This isn't about dominance, it's about direction. Women feel secure when a man moves through life with clarity, not controlling her, but showing he can guide himself. Indecision, passivity, waiting for her to lead. These are micro signals that he's not anchored in his own life. And when a man can't lead himself, a woman won't feel safe attaching to him. Number 3, relational safety. This is consistency, predictability, follow-through. Women don't need perfection, just proof that your actions align with your words. When small promises break, when intentions don't match behavior, when effort fluctuates, she stops trusting the relationship's stability. And once trust weakens, attraction naturally declines with it. These 3 forms of safety operate beneath the surface. You don't notice them when they're present, only when they begin to disappear. And when they disappear, a woman doesn't think, "I'm losing attraction." She feels it in her body as tension, uncertainty, or emotional fatigue. That's why the shift feels mysterious to men. Because the root cause isn't visible, it's psychological. Men listen to what women say. Women respond to what men are. This creates a blind spot so massive that it hides the entire emotional process unfolding beneath the surface. Men focus on logic, words, and clear signals. If something is wrong, they expect to hear it. If she's upset, they expect her to say it. But women rarely communicate attraction through direct statements. They communicate through patterns, tone, energy, responsiveness, enthusiasm, warmth. And because these shifts can be subtle, men often interpret them as random mood changes. Instead of the emotional data they actually represent. This blind spot makes the decline of attraction feel sudden, because men only register what happens after the pattern has fully developed. It's like noticing a storm only once it hits your house, not during the days when the clouds slowly gathered. A woman's attraction doesn't vanish. It leaks through tiny cracks in the dynamic. Cracks she feels intuitively, and he overlooks logically. This is why so many men think women are unpredictable, when in reality, the signs were always there. They were just quiet, subtle, and emotional, not verbal, explicit, or rational. If you as a man understand this blind spot, it doesn't just prevent attraction loss, it changes the entire way a man reads the emotional landscape of a relationship. If attraction fades through tiny cracks, it can also be strengthened through small, consistent behaviors. Not by being perfect, not by overperforming, but by embodying qualities that create emotional stability. Here are the patterns that keep attraction alive. Number 1, be consistent, not predictable. Consistency builds trust. Predictability kills polarity. Show up reliably, but keep a sense of depth, direction, and individuality. Let her feel both your steadiness and your independence. Number 2, lead with clarity. Women relax around men who make decisions calmly. It doesn't mean controlling the relationship. It means guiding your own life with purpose. When you move with direction, she feels safe moving with you. Number 3, speak less from insecurity, more from groundedness. Neediness pushes, groundedness attracts. Before sending a message, asking a question, or reacting emotionally, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from security or from fear? That one shift alone transforms the entire dynamic. Number 4, resolve tension with calm energy. When conflict arises, your tone matters more than your words. A steady presence leads her nervous system back to equilibrium. Most men escalate, rarely intentionally, but through frustration or defensiveness. Staying centered is a masculine superpower. Number 5. Follow through on small things. Not the big gestures, the small ones. When your words match your actions, she experiences you as safe, and safety is the soil in which attraction naturally grows. Attraction is not something you constantly chase. It's something you create by being grounded, reliable, and internally anchored. When you embody these qualities, the psychological erosion that causes sudden attraction loss never gets the chance to begin. If you're already sensing distance, if her messages feel colder, if the warmth is slipping away, the worst thing you can do is try to force it back. Attraction doesn't return through pressure. It returns through restoring the conditions that made it grow in the first place. Here's how you do that. First, stop chasing. Pulling harder when she's pulling away creates emotional friction. Give space, not as a strategy, but as a reset. A woman can't feel drawn to a man who's clinging. Second, recenter yourself. Women feel your internal state long before you speak. If you're anxious, overthinking, or insecure, that energy bleeds into every interaction. Get grounded. Reconnect with your purpose, your routine, your direction. Stability is more attractive than intensity. Third, reduce emotional volatility. No long paragraphs, no over-explaining, no "what's wrong?" every few hours. Respond calmly, move slowly, let silence breathe. Your steadiness becomes the recalibration she didn't know she needed. Fourth, reintroduce healthy space. Space allows polarity to rebuild. It gives her room to feel you again. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by your presence, distance isn't disrespect, it's oxygen. And lastly, change patterns, not promises. Don't tell her you'll do better. Show it, through behavior, not speeches. Attraction returns when a woman senses a shift in how you show up, not when she hears a speech about who you want to be. Rebuilding attraction isn't about winning her back. It's about becoming the version of yourself that she naturally feels drawn to again. Without pressure, without convincing, just through presence and consistency. When a woman loses attraction, it often feels mysterious. Like her emotions changed overnight, like everything was fine one day and slipping away the next. But attraction doesn't disappear suddenly. It fades quietly through small moments of inconsistency, through patterns of insecurity, through subtle shifts in energy that men are never taught to recognize. The real turning point comes when she no longer feels safe, emotionally, directionally, or relationally. And when that sense of safety erodes, so does her desire. But here's the shift that matters. Attraction isn't something you chase. It's something you create by the way you move through the world. When a man is grounded, consistent, and anchored in himself, he doesn't need to convince a woman to feel anything. She feels it naturally. And when he understands the emotional patterns beneath her behavior, he stops reacting out of confusion and starts responding with clarity. Most men never see these patterns, but the moment you do, you step into a completely different reality, one where relationships feel less like chaos and more like something you can actually navigate with confidence.